Hello, this is Crypto CJ. Welcome to today's trade of the day. It's the Monday night Zoom edition, a bit early. I got some other things going on, so we're starting an hour early. Pretty good attendance for the spontaneous change. The big news, right after my Friday night Zoom, Bitcoin with a huge dump. I mean, probably the biggest since March of last year. So wrecked a lot of people, wiped out a lot of leverage. Let's go to Bitcoin. Let's go to the chart and check it out. Okay, so I've got the 1 hour Bitcoin chart up. You guys see that okay?
Yep.
All right, good. So here's what we had from Friday the 3rd at 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. My time. We had a almost 27% drop. Pretty quick recovery, at least partially. And then it dropped all the way down to 42, maybe the high 41s if I recall correctly. And then up into the mid to high 40s afterwards. Over the weekend, we consolidated in the high 40s between about 47 and 49. Dipped again this morning to 47, and it had a really nice pump a couple hours ago, which of course coincided with my buying an Ethereum short. So I sacrificed again for the good of my people.
Oh, okay.
Well, my Ethereum short superpower did not last very long on Friday night. I'd bought one in the late afternoon and then it dumped. So I actually had a pretty good trade on that. But anyway, yeah, we got some movement within the last couple hours. I drew this trend line. And I'm hoping that we follow this up to get back to to at least the 60s, by the end of the month. Hitting 100K at the end of 2021 seems unrealistic. Like a lot of the talking heads were predicting. I was never that optimistic. I was thinking, maybe 80 or 90, but I don't think either of those is realistic anymore. But if we could get in the 60s, I think that would be a good run for Bitcoin. And then why did this happen? Well, there was some stock market dropped. We talked a little bit about this on Friday. There was the Chinese company Evergrande going under, and that had a rippling effect, through the world markets and the stock market, and then eventually over to Bitcoin. And you get this kind of drop here, and then some of the leverage positions start to get liquidated, and they have to sell to cover their orders, and then you get these big dumps when that happens. We've seen it. We saw it in September. We saw it in May. We get a pretty big movement based on news, and then the movement gets exacerbated by the leverage in the market. So, and those, of course, are people, with huge leverage positions with thousands and millions of dollars, not little guys like me. So, I've been asked before, well, don't you think you're trading on leverage? Participate, has something to do with this? Well, not my small $100 trades, but anyway, yeah, if you are going to trade on leverage, go small, because these kind of things do happen. All right, well, that's Bitcoin. And I did want to show you guys an email. Let me from CryptNation, and let me see if I can bring that up. It was from Bryce, Paul, and here we go. So this is the email from CryptNation, from the lifers. Bryce is still very optimistic. Bounce back up to the next overhead volume point of control, 60,000 seems realistic. Then he's got his charts in here. So if you guys are lifers, you might want to check out this email if you haven't already. It's a pretty good technical analysis as to Bryce's position, as to why he thinks Bitcoin has probably hit the bottom and is bouncing up. All right. And then we can go ahead and take a quick look at Ethereum. It looks very similar to Bitcoin. Seems like Ethereum is just about 10% of Bitcoin, give or take, most of the time. I drew this trend line. It's had a really nice recovery today, and should be heading towards 4,800, something like this in the very near future. So that's my view on the overall markets, especially with the mayhem we had this weekend. Anyone else care to chime in as to when or where, what their projections are?
I don't have projections, but I've been looking at some other interesting projections. And
Okay.
you have, well, I was going to try to bring it up here and maybe share my screen, but somebody shared this in one of the groups that I think you and I are both in. Let's see if I can get it here.
Well, I'll have to stop my share for you to do it, and also enable sharing, which I have done. So go ahead.
Thanks. I have to type this in from memory. It's always a fun exercise. Because I have two browsers and yeah, okay. Oh, well, if I would spell it right, it would help. So anyway, I wanted to show a very pessimistic projection and then a very optimistic one. And we can say that the truth is somewhere in between, the middle. More than likely. Right. All right. Screen share.
That's like me showing you guys 3 different options on exit points. And I almost say I always choose the middle. So,
yeah. So this is based on market cycles of the past, and the market is not obligated to repeat them, obviously, but what they have happening is from right now, well, we just had a small dump. They say, well, it's going all the way down to, well, it was 9,000 the other day. They change it every 5 minutes, but now it looks a little more optimistic. Now it's 11.2 thousand by what's that, November or October, the end of October 2022, and then struggling its way back up to 229,000 whenever that is, 2025 sometime. So that's one story.
Okay.
And then the contrasting story is Michael Saylor, who wants to see Bitcoin hit 170 or 220,000 this year.
Yeah, it's ambitious, even for Mr. Saylor. So, and I think the one thing that's missing in some of these analyses is that, we have a lot more institutional money in Bitcoin now than we did, when we had the bigger moves in 2017 and 2013. So I think those might dampen some of we still had huge dumps even with that, but losing like 80 or 90% of the value of crypto seems far less likely now than it did, maybe even a year ago. So, I mean, it's all possibility, probabilities that we can talk about. Nobody knows anything for certain, especially me, but that's the one difference now that we didn't have back then. So, all right. Well, anyone else care to chime in on the overall market before I move on to Altcoin Alert? All right, then. Let's go to Altcoin Alert, and we'll start with the AA scores. No, actually, let's start with a long-term sentiment sort. We've been doing this last couple of weeks. What we usually do is, at least what I do around midnight UTC, which is 5 p.m. Mountain Time for me, is I've got an alert on my calendar. It'll pop up, and I will look for something to buy and hold for usually, about a day. And I'm usually just looking for a couple percent push. We got some really good numbers from Altcoin Alert and the TIE about trading based on the long-term sentiment, which is essentially the Twitter data in the last 24 hours compared to the last 20 days. So when I first started doing this, I got some really nice trades out of it with some coins I was familiar with. Now I'm getting very bullish only on 2 of them, and they're both They're both Bitcoin. Okay. They're both kind of Bitcoin derivatives or whatever you want to call them, Bitcoin Gold and Bitcoin SV. I've traded BSV before. It's been a while. So I thought I'd bring this one up while we had it. See if it's something we want to trade, assuming it hangs around for the next couple hours. You don't necessarily have to do this trade at midnight UTC. I mean, you can do it pretty much any time, but that seems to be, that's the point of time that was actually analyzed by the tie. So that's what I've been using. Okay, on the day chart for BSV, it had highs back of $450, and back in May had the big dump. It really hasn't recovered from that. It has spiked up today. But some of these, altcoins that have Bitcoin in their name, sometimes they get purchased on it sort of by accident by the retail buyers who go, well, I don't want to pay $50,000 for Bitcoin, but I'll pay 178 for Bitcoin Gold or Vault or whatever it is. So I think some of these get bought accidentally for that reason, but regardless, I'm still willing to trade it. So on the day, it's got plenty of room to move to the highs of the last couple of months. It's had a pretty good move today, though. It makes me wonder if it's been played out. But if it's going to bounce back to this recent high of 217, there's plenty of retracement room. And if we go to the 5-minute chart, it's been riding above mostly the SMA line since this morning around 10 o'clock. So if it bounces off this again, like it looks like it's going to, if you see some more candle action, you could go to the top of the even the top of the Bollinger Bands, 15%. That's crazy. And this resistance here around 16%. So there's a lot of room to move here. Ideally, I catch it down here in a dip sequence, but this candle action is pretty good. We're getting mostly lower highs, higher lows, and so that's encouraging. Let's see if you get a couple green candles here, might be worth jumping into. Even just to here, this little pocket of resistance is 6%. That's really good. So this one's intriguing, as a spot trade. Any questions on BSV? Okay, and then the other one it had on that sort was Bitcoin Gold. I've not traded this before. It's on Binance, Bitfinex. I'll look at the Binance chart. Maybe some of our foreign friends can buy this one. On the day, yeah, back in May, it was over $140. Lost about 2/3 of that value. Jumped back up to 90, almost hit 100 in late August. Down to 45 now. Okay, on the 1 hour, big dump on Friday. It's recovered, almost recovered it. It had a big pump up to 50 and then it's dropped some since then. So what do we do with this now? It's trending up. Yeah, it's only about 6 to 7% to this recent high. I'd be more inclined to take the prior trade than this one. Yeah, not loving this. You can always put an alert on this one, or the prior one on the resistance down here that we had early in the morning around 4 o'clock. You catch a trade there, right up to the where the Bollinger Band is now is double digits. So that'd be pretty good. So if you can catch it down here, that would be the place to go with this one. All right. Any questions on Bitcoin SV, Bitcoin Gold? The long-term sentiment sort. All right, let's look by AA score. We've got some friends here, Matic and Cody, BTHO. These are all the coins I've traded before. Don't know Newton, that one's new. We just had an update. I did put a low buy order in on Matic. Let's look at Matic. Okay. Big pump in May. Gained most of that back. By late October, even pumped again. A couple days ago, up to 238. Down to 224 now. Some got the W shape here on the 1 hour. Before the dump on Friday, it was up to the, well, that 238 I just mentioned. So it's got a little bit room to retrace. If you look at the last couple days, I was trying to catch it right about here, around 209. So I've got a low buy order in there. Might want to set an alert. It's probably the better way to do it. Use the low buy order because I know I've got this Zoom and another one coming up. I don't know if I'll be able to watch the charts as closely as I would like, but it's a bit risky. The alert is usually the better way to go. But from my point up to the current resistance, I'm looking for 8 or 9%. That'll be my goal. If I do something with leverage, it'll be lower. I'll probably just try to get maybe up to 215. Another option is to set an alert down here around 178. It's a little bit more support here at 198, right around $2 would be another good place. If you can try to catch a trade down there, that would be a good one. All right, any questions on Matic?
Yeah, CJ.
Okay, Patrick, go ahead.
We never look at the stock being up at the top of the Bollinger Band. Why don't we consider selling short when it's way up there?
Yeah, I do that with some frequency, but the focus of this particular Zoom is Altcoin Alert and iCoinPro, which don't necessarily teach leverage trading, but I can't really talk candidly about my trading if I don't at least mention it. But I always encourage people to start in spot trading first, get comfortable with that, have some success in that first, before you go to leverage. But what Patrick's talking about is instead of looking for a 1, 2, 3 dip, we look for a 1, 2, 3 pump, or even not a 1, 2, 3 pump. We just look for candles that are breaking through the Bollinger Band. This is usually a pretty good sign that that's going to drop, as you can see here. We've also got an RSI going through the 70 value. So that's usually considered overbought, and it's due to come back. And we have the same thing here for the money flow index. So all these indicators and the candle action are showing that Matic should be coming down soon. So if you want to, had we been talking an hour ago, we could have done a short on this. When you have this kind of candle action, I'm not sure about a short, but I have a couple going now, so we'll see. But yeah, I'll have to make a decision pretty soon about how much I want to talk about leverage trading in this in the Zoom. I haven't mentioned it all that much. I started it back in February, but we're coming up on a year, and I've been trading leverage since May, so but I don't really feel that I've had enough sustained success in it to talk to teach others about it, where I have had that in my spot trading. So that's a long answer to your question, Patrick, but that's why we don't talk about leverage any more than we do. We don't want to scare away the new people too, so there's that. All right, but good point. Thanks for that. Anything else on Matic before we move on? I think we'll look at one more altcoin alert sort coin, and then we'll move over to iCoinPro. Let's check out Cody. It's the next one listed above 80 on the AA score. Just look at the Binance chart because it's convenient. Okay. Looks like Cody hit an all-time high fairly recently, late September, late October, 68 cents, down 35 now. It was in December, it was up to 51 cents, took the big drop on Friday and had some recovery. Looking pretty good today on the hour chart. The 5-minute. Getting higher highs, higher lows. It's trending up. But, you know, like Patrick pointed out, we've got several candles breaking through the Bollinger Band here too, plus high values on the RSI. The MFI didn't quite make it past its 80 points. So, but MACD is crossed and it's going down. So according to the candle action and the indicators, this one's trending down at the moment. Wouldn't want to buy it at this many red candles. We do have a green one here. I'd probably put an alert down this resistance or support here around 33.7 cents. And some more support here at about 31.9. So those would be my targets to get in on a lower buy order if I were interested in picking up some Cody. All right, any questions on this one? Okay, I'm gonna make this one a little shorter than usual. So I'm just gonna do those 4 coins in Altcoin Alert before I move over to iCoinPro. We'll just do a couple in iCoinPro, and then I'll probably end this in the next 10 minutes or so, and hang around for a little bit with some general questions. And a lot of us are going to go to a Zoom at 4 p.m. Pacific. So, all right, here is, you know, I haven't looked at iCoinPro today. That's not very good of me. Been testing another strategy involving divergence. That's chewed up most of my day today. So my apologies for not being and changing the time of this too, but regardless, I should have been a little better prepared. Okay, are you guys seeing the RSI SPY? You may not be, so since I just brought it up as a new window. So let's share again.
I was seeing it.
Oh, you were? Okay. You should see it now.
Yep.
All right. On the two sorts I like are the RSI SPY and the Buddy Coin Crawler. The RSI SPY, I'm looking for low values, 30 or below on the 1 hour. It usually indicates a coin's been beaten down, it's due for a comeback, but all these values are above 40 because most of the coins are trending up today. Now, if I sort it by reverse, looking for coins above 70, there's a lot of them. So a lot of these coins are, you know, like Patrick mentioned, punching through the top of the Bollinger Band and heading down. Could be short opportunities, but not really going to discuss that here. So not really seeing anything on the RSI SPY at the moment. Buddy Coin Crawler. All right, I'm listing both Binance and Coinbase Pro here. I wish they had a few more. I'd like to see KuCoin in here because that's where I do most of my spot trading, and some on Coinbase as well. But we're getting a lot. I'm usually looking for 5% or higher in this sort here, the average low to the SMA, and the low is the low price of the 24-hour period, and the SMA line's that pink line I showed you between the Bollinger Bands on my chart. So 5% or higher usually indicates the coin's got some movement. We got a lot of them over that. And that's mostly because a lot of the coins have been recovering from lows today. So we'll look at a couple of these. This one I've traded recently, Origin Trail Track, TRAC. That's a USDT pair, which on Coinbase Pro, volume's too small. So let's do the USD pair. We've got, almost 5 million here. That's good enough. I can use that drop down menu. It'll take me to a trading view chart. And on the day, it's not much here because it's a fairly recent listing. In that situation, I like to see if I can find an older chart with more candle action on it. Let's try Bittrex. Yeah, Bittrex goes back, quite a ways. Yeah, it goes back to June of last year. So this wasn't doing much until recently, till that listing. It shot up all the way to 350. Now it's down to 131. And it's been trending down on the hour chart. Has not recovered as well as the rest of the coins did. But it wasn't as affected. Well, it didn't dump that much on the third. It did trend. It has been trending down since then. 5-minute chart, got very little volume. Go back to the Coinbase chart. Okay, it's almost practically a different coin. So we'll look at the hour
So
here.
there's gaps in the chart,
Well, that just means
right?
there weren't any
You see
trades.
gaps in the chart?
Yeah, when you see horizontal lines on the 5-minute, that means there were no trades for that
Yeah.
period of time. That's bad. That's low volume. You don't want anything to do with that.
Yeah,
So-
red flag all over the place, right? Low volume.
Well, I mean, who trades
Okay.
on Bittrex anymore? So, I mean,
Yeah, I
know,
don't even.
5 years ago,
okay.
maybe it was one of the earlier exchanges, but.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we've got, here's the better history. I'll explain why the Bittrex chart didn't have this movement because nobody was trading on it. And so it has recovered entirely. That's interesting. It has wiped out the losses that we had from Friday. It's trending up pretty hard. So if I'm not seeing an obvious retrace, I go to larger time frame. So on the 15-minute chart now, yesterday, early in the morning, it was at 137 from 132. Yeah, that's a couple percent. That's not bad. Yeah. Might look at this more of a swing trade. I've got a swing trade going with this particular one. So to get back where it was a couple days ago is about 6%. That's pretty good. It still has room to move to recent highs. So maybe go in half where it is now because it is trending up nicely, or set a low buy order, I'd say down here, just some support at 114. That might be another place to get in. So anyway, track USD. Any questions on this one? And we will look at, let's see, something that's a little more, we're a little more familiar with. Well, the super farm, I think, was a new listing on Binance. I recall something in Altcoin Alert about this. Let's look at this. Okay, day chart. That's not a new listing. Because, sorry, I was confusing it with something else. Well, we're here, let's check it out. We had some big moves up in March and in May to almost $3. It's recovered about half of that. Trending down the last couple days. On the 1 hour. Big drop here on Friday, then dropped again this morning. But it's come back pretty hard. It's really interesting. Yeah, shot 50% in one day. Maybe this is a listing on a different exchange. So I thought I saw something with a super in it. And this is a pretty big move today. So let's see if we can do anything with it now. Not really. It's way up here in the top of the Bollinger Band, trending down a little bit. It's a little bit of support here at 143. And quite a bit here in this range between 111 and 104. If I wanted to trade this, I'd want to catch it down in this range. Set an alert, reevaluate. Okay, well, that's all I have for Super Farm and Altcoin Alert. Any and iCoinPro. Any questions on these or any other coins you guys want to look at?
I do have a question, CJ.
Okay.
When you're looking at the RSI SPY and then you look at Buddy Coin Crawler, are you looking at each one separately or are you trying to sync RSI with Buddy Coin? If you pick a coin on RSI, do you go to Buddy Coin Crawler and look at that to see if that one is, would you say 10% or better?
5% or better, depending
5%
on
or
the
better,
market. You know,
and
if we're in
below
a
30.
yeah, below 30, and yeah, you're not going to see that very often because if it's because if it's below 30, it's going to have a low. Most likely, it's going to have a low score and Buddy Coin Crawler. So it's sometimes there is some overlap, but it's rare.
Okay, but you're looking at each one separately.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have to match them up.
Okay, that's what I thought you were doing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, and a lot of these that are towards the lower end are Bitcoin pairs. I wish there was a way to exclude them, but there isn't because I don't trade Bitcoin pairs very often. Okay, any other questions on iCoinPro or Altcoin Alert or any coins you guys want to look at?
Hang on a sec.
All right.
Yeah, I have one question.
Sure.
Which CoinPro subscription do you have?
Yeah, there's three tiers, I believe now. They didn't have that when I joined. So,
Oh, okay.
so I have the $99 one, which I think is the highest one. Yeah, they
Right.
started the 3 tiers beginning of this year, and I've been a member since like November of 19. So,
Oh, well, okay. All
yeah.
right. Thanks. Well,
Uh-huh.
I'll be on the call in 20 minutes, so I'll see you then.
All right. Any other questions, guys? All right, well, I'm going to stop the recording here. Those of you watching, the recorded version, thank you for doing that. I hope to see you on Friday or next Monday. And the rest of you guys can hang around. We'll talk a little bit more. Bye.